Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Thakkar show. Today we are celebrating completion of 2.5 years of my podcasting journey. It's been a roller coaster ride, to be very honest, to have begun this podcast from just a small tiny request. Like if you have gone through my Rewind 2020, where I have actually said and described in detail about how I began my podcast, and it began with just a small conversations like, it do can I have this person on board? And me and my sister were having a conversation at night, and she was like, yes, just try and message him, maybe he might come. And I was like, okay. I messaged him, he replied, and he was one of the superstar of the Gujarati film industry and Gujarati stand-up comedy. And from there we began I began my podcasting journey. I started having great guests in initial time as well. I had Kuntal Joyce, I had Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai sir, I had Abhijit Pradhan, I had one of the most admiring personalities in podcasting industry at that time. And at that time I used to think that this is just the conversation I like to have, and I would just keep it that low key, that I don't want it to grow it to a scale where I want to reach masses and as many people as I can. From there, my vision started changing after having conversations with these many successful people. My vision started changing in the sense that now what I want from my podcast is very different from what I initially wanted. Initially it was just a conversation. Now I want every conversations to be valuable. I want every conversations to add at least one new layer of perspective to you guys. And the basic reason behind is that when I shifted from Gujarat to Dehradun, from Ahmedabad to Dehradun, and I got a very big cultural shock. Not in a negative sense, in terms of perspective, in terms of how people look the same thing in multiple way, and how far those perspective are from each other. And like far perspective in the sense, like if I'm for me this wall is green, to someone it might see blue, to someone it might see near to the bluish or greenish shade of color. But if someone says that it is black, then that's something very different or very far-fetched perspective from what generally we expect people, right? So these kind of far perspective I started getting, and that was a very interesting turning point in my thought process as well, where I started thinking that no, I don't want these conversations just to fulfill my curiosity. Because many people, by the time I have heard many my friends said that, hey, I got this new perspective from your conversations, that was interesting. And I'm like, oh, these guys also had same questions. And from there I started thinking that, why don't I make it for the people, in the sense that why don't I make sure that every conversation have something very useful, very informative for all of us to learn. It is not only about me to learn, it is not only about what I think, what I believe, what I say and all that thing. I want those people to share their ideas, their experiences, because that is what matters. If I only tell about my experience is nothing but just 21, 22 years. Now, what are your guys' experiences? That is way more. Guests who are coming, their experiences is way more, because they are working with people, they are managing them, plus they already had more than 10, 20 years of experience. And that is what makes it interesting, right? That is what makes it very beautiful, that we are learning from not just the education system, we are learning from people who have applied that education. Now, I don't want to limit my podcast to just learning, that I just want you people to learn. I also want you people to think. And there's very huge difference between learning and thinking. And I think that is one of the major excruciating point between what we want from our education system and what our education system is giving to us. Our education system is giving us learnings, but what we need right now is thinking. Learning means I am absorbing information. Thinking means I'm processing information, and that processing comes in both ways. To absorb information, I need to think that, okay, I need to understand, and for understanding, we need thinking. And also, when I'm using that information, when I'm applying that information somewhere, I need thinking. I need to think before applying that, is this good, is this correct, is this not. So that all thinking is also required, right? And what our education system is giving is just learning. There is no understanding the process of absorbing information. Our education system is giving information, and we don't have anything which helps us in absorbing that information. That's why there is a huge difference of marks between toppers and average student. The average score of a class is way lower than what a topper scores. The difference between them is that we are asked to give out what we have been given. It is literally a give and take policy. I am given a formula to learn. I just need to write that down. It's simple enough. I don't need to think why this formula came, how this formula is being applied in real world. I don't know. I am always learning force is equal to mass into action, but I have never done any practical to understand how can I measure that force, how can I measure that friction, what is exact mass. There's always been debate between what is mass and weight, and like that's too into physics sense. But there's always been this huge gap when we talk about practicals which are being done in our school levels and college level as well. Those practicals are way different than what exactly we are being taught. We just need to press few buttons in that practical and we are getting readings, versus what we are being taught is multiple layers of formulas, multiple layers of knowledge, right? In coding, we are taught about what is computer, how a computer is made, but we are very we are given a very surface level knowledge of how a compiler works, how computer exactly understand coding. If I'm typing the letter A, letter B, letter C, how my computer interprets it. That is the huge gap. And when I saw this gap, not the gap in education, but the gap in what people are talking in general. In general, people nowadays are talking about only trending topics. And trending topics, what these people are talking is where the trend is going. For example, there was this Zomato case. Initially, the topic was going that, oh, Zomato is bad, the delivery guy shouldn't have done it. After some time, the trend shifted to the favor of the guy, and they said that, oh, this woman is doing this bluff game just to get fame and get money and all that thing. And I've seen people shifting just like that. I've seen people aggressively sticking to their opinion just because that opinion is in line with the trend. And that gave me a huge shock, is that we don't have conversations. People are not ready to have conversations to talk and understand the different perspective. And to understand different perspective, we always need an authority. And I don't want that authoritative system to help us with the ideology of accepting different perspective. I want the peer-to-peer acceptance of different perspective. Whenever you see a group of friends, majority of them have same thought process about majority of things. They might not be same in terms of career objective, that is very personal, but when we talk about the conversations they have, when we talk about the kind of fun, the kind of humor they have, this is where they connect. And The person who is just in the group, who is not speaking, that person's perspective is always being made fun of. That has made me think that why don't I give you guys perspective in a different way, in the sense where I can help you guys understand things where there is no authority, there is just a guest, we are having a conversation, and you are getting perspective through medium of a person who is similarly of your age, is in your age group. And that will make you understand that there are people who are very successful than you, there are people who are very less successful than you, and there are people who are equally successful as you. Because I have seen people younger than me, they are way successful. I have seen people elder than me, way successful. I have seen people of my age way more successful than me, and I have not even started my first step towards success, to be very honest. It's because this journey has not been as what I expected. In this journey I have achieved few heights for which I am very very thankful of. Is that we have ranked among top 100 podcasts in India in the early months of 2022. We have been ranked as um, in top searches of Google as India's most inspiring podcast since I think whole 2021 to February 2022. That's a huge accomplishment for me. But what I want is very very far than what I have achieved right now. It is not about ranking, it is about how deep can I penetrate in a human mind to make them understand the perspective of what value my guest brings from their words, their conversations. And obviously not every thought of my guest can be understood directly, and that's why I have these solo podcasts where I can share that perspective in my words, where there are probability that you can connect with me much better. Because guests do not have that much time where they can explain every small details, but I have that opportunity and platform where I can give you the same perspective in a much more detailed and simplified manner, like the solo podcast is. And more than that, what I feel is that we people have not thought about how fast is this country changing, and how big diversity of this country is because when I was talking to guests, when they talked about how how big of a cultural shock they had faced when they were shifting their country, when they were shifting from one state to different state, is that you can see the general idea of India, and you can also see how big potential that India carries in. Is that we can see people are very very willingful, people have so much of talent, people have so much of willingness to do, but the only problem they have is they do not have a new way of thinking, and they do not have the courage to start their own path, to make their own path, to make their own story. On the same hand, we still have those old notions going on in the parts of India where education is very less. We still have those old notions, those old sayings about of which promotes inequality and disturbances in people's mind and peace. And I'm telling this on very honest basis. I have seen that. I have seen people from the same place where these inequality and disturbing mindsets are being cherished. From the same place, I have seen people going into damn high heights and changing the idea of what even modern people think about some things. And that's what makes our country beautiful. That's what makes me believe that I still have a good potential to reach out to many people of this country. One more thing which I have learned in this journey of 2.5 years of podcasting is that what we think about ourselves is not 100% true. And we generally have this saying that don't take yourself too much seriously. I've realized that in harsh way, because initially I thought that I am a great conversationalist, I know how to talk to people. The guests were so sweet that they won't pick my mistakes up, and they would just say, yeah, it was good, we loved it, and this and that. From there I was like, if this big personality is telling I'm good, then obviously I'll be good, and this and that. And after that, when I started getting feedback, when I started getting results of it, I saw that there are very good people. There are people who are very good in conversations, way better than me. They know how to formulate content, they know how to talk to people, they know how to talk to guests, especially they know how to make conversations engaging. And that makes me wonder that I took myself very, very seriously. I took myself so seriously that I have started dreaming of different things without even doing them, without even trying to apply that. And when I realized that okay, I am not good in conversation, I started losing hope, which is another downside of taking yourself not too seriously. Is that you don't take your dreams too seriously, and that is a very problematic state where I don't want to take myself seriously as my current achievements, as what I have achieved right now. If I would take myself seriously of ranking in top 100 podcasts in different categories, I would take myself so seriously that I would stop doing podcasts. And it did happen. Now, when I talk about not taking yourself seriously in terms of my dreams, then things would have shattered. I want my dream to live. I want my dream to manifest into reality, and that is why I'm still working. That is why I'm still trying new things for my podcast, so that I can make it as valuable, as engaging, as interesting for you guys. Because I thought that I don't know SEO, I don't know this, I don't know that, so maybe I am unable to reach to people, and I do not understand even after I tried learning. But the problem I had is I always learned, I never implemented it. If I'm facing problem in learning, I would never implement it. I'm like, unless and until मेरे को सब पता है, मैं उसको implement करूँगा ही नहीं. And that is where the problem is. अगर मेरे को एक चीज़ भी पता है ना, मैं उस एक चीज़ को implement करके देखूंगा, तो मुझे शायद आगे की चीज़ समझ में आ जाएगी ऑटोमेटिकली. पर मैं जब तक 10 की 10 चीज़ें सीख ना जाऊं, समझ ना जाऊं, तब तक मैं उसमें से एक भी implement नहीं करूंगा. That is wrong. And this is what I've learned harsh way. This is what I am in applying it in myself. But this is what I've recently realized. That's why I had huge breaks in my podcast. Like कभी कभी महीने में एक podcast आता था, कभी कभी 2-3 महीने एक भी podcast नहीं आता था, कभी एक महीने में 4 आ जाते थे, कभी इतना कंसिस्टेंसी हो जाता था, कभी कंसिस्टेंसी ब्रेक हो जाती थी. कंसिस्टेंट तो मैं I won't say I was consistent. मैं max to max 2 to 3 months consistent रहा. That is the problem. जब मेरी कंसिस्टेंसी से मुझे थोड़े थोड़े रिवॉर्ड्स आना स्टार्ट होते थे, मैं तभी ब्रेक हो जाता था. And still in 2.5 years I am unable to achieve what people in podcasting industry have achieved in just 6 months, 1 year, 1.5 years, 2 years, 2.5 years. Another major thing which I have learned is don't take your fears too seriously. When you're not taking your successes too seriously, don't take your failures and fears too seriously. Like when we say we should take everything in balance, and that is what it is. क्योंकि जब हम हमारे फेलियर्स को बहुत सीरियसली लेने लगते हैं, हम होप हार जाते हैं, हम सीख नहीं पाते. जब हम सक्सेस को ज़्यादा सीरियसली लेते हैं, हम तब भी सीख नहीं पाते. तो जब हम चीज़ों को जिस तरीके से लेना चाहिए उस तरीके से लेना स्टार्ट कर देंगे, तब हम एग्जैक्टली समझ पाएंगे कि क्या सीखना है, क्या नहीं सीखना है, कहाँ सही थे, कहाँ गलत है. सपोज 10 में से 9 चीजें सही कर ली, बस एक चीज गलत हो गई जिसकी वजह से आपको रिजल्ट 1% भी नहीं मिला अपने एफर्ट का। तो इसका मतलब ये थोड़ी कि आप 10 की 10 चीजें चेंज कर दोगे। उस 10 में से एक चीज आइडेंटिफाई करनी है जो गलत हुई है, और वो आइडेंटिफाई तभी कर पाएंगे जब हम चीज़ों को ज़्यादा सीरियसली ना लेके हम चीज़ों को उस हिसाब से लें कि बस मेरे को इम्प्रूव करना है। एंड नाउ व्हेन आई सॉ द रिजल्ट्स, व्हेन आई हैव गॉन थ्रू डेटा, आई रियलाइज्ड कि व्हेन आई एम बीइंग वेरी वेरी रॉ, at that time people are engaging with me at my max. And raw in the sense, it is not about script, it is not about some topic जिसमें मैं बोल बोल के lecture दे रहा हूँ. It is about what actually I have gone through, what actually I have been through, like what I'm telling you right now. This 2.5 years of journey is not planned कि ये point बोलना है, वो point बोलना है, ये बोलना है, वो बोलना है. It is very very raw. जो मुझे रियलाइज हुआ, जो मुझे रियलाइज हो रहा है, उन सब चीज़ों को मैं जैसे जैसे दिमाग में आ रही है वैसे वैसे मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ. दिस जर्नी ऑफ गेटिंग माइक, दिस जर्नी ऑफ ट्राइंग टू अपग्रेड द लेवल ऑफ माई कॉन्टेंट इज जस्ट few efforts of not letting my dream vanish. Because एक पॉइंट आ गया था जब ना मुझे प्लेज आ रहे थे, ना मुझे व्यूज आ रहे थे, ना गेस्ट आ रहे थे. एवरीथिंग वाज शट डाउन. और उसी में एक और ऐसी भयानक चीज हो गई वेयर आई लॉस्ट वन ऑफ माई वेरी डियर फ्रेंड. And that just shattered everything out of me. Because I never thought that anything, like, I never thought that I would ever leave doing podcasting. But that thought did came. And once that thought came, I was speechless. His results were telling me to leave. The instances happening were telling me to leave. It is my final year in university. I have dozens of work to do. I have multiple things to do. And still investing my time and resources to get this mic, to create podcasts, everything made zero sense unless and until I again revisited myself. I revisited my interest of why I began this. I revisited why I wanted this. And after that, when I realized that all I want from this podcast is to create value, nothing else. All I want from this podcast is that everyone should try and get new perspective. What I had always seen in myself, that I am good at solving problems of people with help of perspective. I am not telling that I am a great problem solver, but whatever problems have come to me of my friends and different people, I've always tried and helped them with a different perspective. And I thought that if I am good at giving different perspective, then why don't I use that skill? Why don't I use that skill in conversations with my guests and help you guys with a different perspective? क्योंकि जो जनरली बोला जाता है वो तो ऑलरेडी है ना इंटरनेट पे. अभी सच में हर जगह बोला जाता है अब ये करो वो करो, हार्ड वर्क, स्मार्ट वर्क. बट उस हार्ड वर्क और स्मार्ट वर्क को मैं समझूं कैसे? अगर हार्ड वर्क एक रास्ता है, स्मार्ट वर्क एक रास्ता है, कौन सा रास्ता कब लेना है ये मुझे पता कैसे चलेगा? क्या मैं आइडेंटिफाई कैसे कर पाऊंगा कि ये रास्ता हार्ड वर्क का है या वो रास्ता स्मार्ट वर्क का है? एक बोले जाने वाले कंसेप्ट को मैं परसीव कैसे करूं? उस परसेप्शन में ही कितने सारे पर्सपेक्टिव आ जाते हैं. अगर मैं हार्ड वर्क बोलता हूं, हार्ड वर्क में लोग बस जो बोले वो करते जाते हैं या जो मन में आए वो करते जाते हैं. दोनों बहुत ही अलग हैं. अगर मैं मेरे बॉस की हर बात पे यस 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 बोलता जाऊं, हार्ड वर्क करता जाऊं, सक्सेस अगर नहीं मिलती है, वर्सेस मैं मेरे बॉस की एक भी ना सुनूं, मैं जो मन में आए वो करता जाऊं, हार्ड वर्क करता जाऊं, फिर भी सक्सेस नहीं मिलती। अगर इन दोनों का कॉम्बिनेशन भी करूं, जब मेरे को लगता है मन नहीं है मैं नहीं काम करूंगा, या जब बॉस ने डांट दिया मैं तब ही काम करूंगा, तो भी नहीं मिलता। उस परफेक्ट बैलेंस को हम खुद कैसे समझे, क्योंकि हमारी लाइफ में बैलेंस अलग है। किसी के लाइफ में 50-50, किसी के लाइफ में 60-40, किसी के लाइफ में 70-30, सबकी परसेंटेज अलग है, सबके रेशियो अलग है। पर वो परफेक्ट रेशियो को मैं समझूं कैसे, वो परफेक्ट रेशियो को मैं अप्लाई कैसे करूं, उस पर्सपेक्टिव को कैसे जानूं, तभी तो हम इतने सारे सक्सेसफुल लोगों को लाते हैं। हर सक्सेसफुल इंसान का अलग अलग रेशियो होता है, जो हम उनकी स्टोरी से, उनके बात करने के तरीके से पहचानते हैं। और जब हमें वो पता चलता है, हम फिर उस चीज को इम्प्लीमेंट करते हैं। फिर हम देखते हैं अच्छा 60-40 वाले सर का रेशियो नहीं लग रहा है, मे बी शायद 50-50 का रेशियो इस मैम की लाइफ में था, तो शायद वो इम्प्लीमेंट करके देखो। उस नैनो लेवल पे हमें पर्सपेक्टिव मिलती है, जहां पे हमें एग्जैक्टली पता चलता है कि अच्छा मुझे इसके बाद ये स्टेप लेना है। बिकॉज व्हाट जनरली इज देयर इन इंटरनेट इज टू जस्ट हेल्प यू लोकेट वेयर इज द रे ऑफ होप, how to find a ray of hope, how to start walking towards ray of hope, what exactly that ray of hope is for you. There are many questions which are unanswered, which we need to explore by ourselves. And this self exploration में जब लोगों की अनवांटेड एडवाइस आ जाती है, जब एक ऐसी सिचुएशन आ जाती है लाइफ में जब एक गाइडेंस की जरूरत होती है, पर नहीं मिलते गाइड, मुझे भी नहीं मिले, पर मैं क्या करूं? अगर मुझे गाइड नहीं मिले तो मैं बैठ के रोऊंगा थोड़ी? मैं बतेरे सक्सेसफुल लोगों से आके बात करूंगा, सबकी टेक्निक ट्राई करूंगा, एटलीस्ट एक टेक्निक काम करेगी। अगर कोई भी टेक्निक काम नहीं करी, एटलीस्ट मुझे पता चलेगा 100 गलत टेक्निक में से एक टेक्निक का एक पार्ट अच्छा लगा, दूसरे टेक्निक का दूसरा पार्ट अच्छा लगा, मैं अपनी खुद की नई टेक्निक इन्वेंट करूंगा। बट एटलीस्ट मेरे को एक्सपीरियंस मिला ना। मेरे पास एक्सपीरियंस ही नहीं है ना, मेरे पास कोई एग्जैक्ट लाइन टू लाइन गाइड करने वाला है, तो मैं क्या करूंगा? एटलीस्ट कुछ तो दे सकता हूं मैं। और उसी आइडिया के साथ इस पॉडकास्ट को हम देते हैं विश्राम। अब इस पॉडकास्ट के बाद आप लोगों को बस एक चीज करनी है, इज टू नॉट लूज होप। कभी भी लाइफ में कुछ भी हो जाए, चाहे कोई भी प्रॉब्लम हो, अगर मैं अवेलेबल हूं, आप सोशल मीडिया पे मुझे डीएम करें, मैसेज करें। अगर मैं अवेलेबल हूं, मैं पर्सनली बात करूंगा। वी विल थिंक हाउ कैन वी ट्राई एंड सॉल्व दिस प्रॉब्लम इन अ डिफरेंट वे। विथ माई पॉडकास्ट स्पेशली आई विल ट्राई एंड हेल्प यू गाइज गेट न्यू पर्सपेक्टिव्स, जहां पे आपको पता लगेगा कि अच्छा ये ट्रेंडिंग टॉपिक है, बट उस ट्रेंडिंग टॉपिक के ट्रेंडिंग डिसीजन पे भी अलग अलग पर्सपेक्टिव आ सकते हैं। जिस साइड में ट्रेंड जा रहा है उस साइड में भी अलग अलग पर्सपेक्टिव है। तो उस हर एक छोटी से छोटी बारीकी से लेकर आपकी जिंदगी में मैक्सिमम इम्पैक्ट डालने वाली पर्सपेक्टिव तक, सारी चीजों पे अब हम साथ मिलकर काम करेंगे। और सिर्फ आपकी नहीं, आपकी, हमारी, आपके आसपास वालों की, सबकी जिंदगी में एक ऐसा इम्पैक्ट डालना है कि जिससे उनको कभी ये ना लगे कि ये दुनिया में सिर्फ और सिर्फ बुरे लोग हैं। हम ये प्रण लेंगे कि इस लाइफ में हम किसी की जिंदगी में एक रे ऑफ होप बन के जाएं, जहां पे शायद हम उनकी सारी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व ना कर पाए, उनकी एक प्रॉब्लम भी सॉल्व ना कर पाए, बट एटलीस्ट उनको एक सहारा दे, उनको बोले कि यार तुम डूबोगे तो नहीं, अगर तुम डूब चुके हो तो मेरा हाथ आएगा तुम्हें बचाने और तुम फिर से तैर लोगे। मैं शायद तुम्हें तैरना सिखा ना पाऊं, बट तुम्हें पानी के ऊपर ले आऊंगा जहां पे तुम खुद से ही तैरना सीख सकते हो, या मैं एक ऐसे इंसान को ले आऊंगा जो तुम्हें तैरना सिखा पाए, या फिर मैं खुद तैरना तुम्हें सिखा दूंगा, पर तुम्हें कभी भी डूबने नहीं दूंगा। Let's become this ray of hope of people's life around us, and make sure that this relation of ours from this podcast will only grow from now onwards. Take care. Bye bye.